What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought this would be an interesting video idea. I saw an article about this suggesting which Chicago Bulls free agents are staying or going. Now, looking at this, it turns out there's a little bit more free agents than I thought there were. Maybe the only one, really. But nonetheless, I thought this would be an interesting video idea. I'm not necessarily going to say what I think the article said. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen based on who's going to stay and who's going to go. I'm going to give you my opinions. It might be obvious, it might not be so obvious, but regardless, we're going to talk about it in this video. But before we get any further, if you liked the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below, who would you keep in this situation and who would you let go? Obviously, money is a big factor in this upcoming season, and those things do play a factor. Whether you like it or not, we can't just say yes to everyone. We can't say that, because at the end of the day, do we have enough money to afford everyone and then maybe even go after certain other people as well? We don't have that type of money, you know? The Bulls are not a team that goes into the luxury tax, and to be fair, I don't necessarily think we should let them go into the luxury tax for a team like this. And with all that being said as well, even if we did go into the luxury tax, there's still question marks on some of these guys. So let's get started. The first player that we need to talk about is a player that we have talked about for a long time now. His name is Josh Giddey. He's a restricted free agency for the Chicago Bulls. And I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. We've talked about it a lot. The next time I make a Josh Giddey video, it will be about certain financial situations. But in terms of whether or not I think he's going to be staying with the Bulls or not, I think it's a very clear and a very obvious yes. I think he will be staying with the Chicago Bulls long term, and I think he will be re-signing with the Bulls this upcoming season. Everything points to that direction. You may like it, you may hate it. I've seen comments saying he's overrated, he's not worth the price. I've seen people say there's no doubt about it, we should be keeping him around. The Bulls want it to happen, and it looks like they're going to be close to meeting those demands of Josh Giddey. Now, it might not be the 30 million, but it might not be far off of it either. No matter what you think, it's all pointing in the direction that the Bulls are going to be keeping him around. There was a recent report, or not even a report, these are all rumors and speculation, that Brooklyn are not even interested in Josh Giddey, and they're the only one that can afford that type of contract at this point in time. So, we need to just accept the fact this is going to happen, whether we like it or not. And that's the harsh reality of things, but those are the things we need to really dig deeper into when it comes to restricted free agency. How much money is he going to get? Because I don't see the destination being the issue here. It is really about the cost of keeping him around. He's a near triple-double threat, terrific end to the season. He was good. And at the end of the day, he's probably going to get paid good because of that as well. It is what it is, right? But let's move on. Let's push forward. The next player I want to talk about is someone I don't think I've talked about that much in relation to the Chicago Bulls, and his name is Tre Jones. Tre Jones is a bit of an interesting one because I can see this going either way. I could tell you why I think he can stay. I could tell you why I think he may go. Why I think he may stay is that the Bulls valued him when they traded him. Very early on, when we did that trade for Zach LaVine and they were going through the training sessions with all those players, instantly there was a report that said, oh my goodness, or it didn't say that, but it basically said Tre Jones, they really like what they saw out of him and they see his potential and everything in between. So how could I sit here and ignore something like that? I can't. So if the Bulls truly value him and truly like what they saw, as someone of his age, is that worth keeping around? I think that's a very valid and interesting question, especially if Ayo Dosunmu is going to be still out for next season. I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he was close to coming back regardless. So, you know, and even Tre Jones was injured towards the end of the season. So you can make that argument. The reasons why he may leave, firstly, we have way too many guards, and how many guards can you play? The Bulls like the 3-guard system, so that might make a case for him to stay, but ultimately, a lot of guards is not necessarily going to be successful every single game you play. You do need depth in every position, not just the guard position. And that is definitely something to keep your eyes on as well. So, arguments there, and I do think, cost-wise, it could play a factor. Keep in mind, just because Coby White is not a restricted free agent or an unrestricted free agent, doesn't mean he's not going to probably get that extension that he probably deserves. So money is going to be a factor in all of these situations. And with that being said, there's a debacle there. Now, I don't think Tre Jones is going to be demanding massive amount of money. But at the same time, do the Bulls want to risk paying him at the detriment of giving someone else less money, like a Josh Giddey, or like a Kobe White, or even like an Ayo Dosunmu? I'll put my hands up. I don't know. Do I think he's going to stay? Probably not long term. I can see him getting a 2-year deal with the Bulls, maybe even a 1-year deal. But there are going to be teams interested. So I would say we might have a battle on our hands to keep him around. He's definitely the type of player that could go to any team. He's not going to be someone that's going to declare his loyalty to the Chicago Bulls. He's a role player for the most part, and those players can go anywhere, so there's no true idea for me, but I think there is a chance he will stay because of what the Bulls saw in him in the trade, and I think that could be enough to keep him around for another season or two. Plus, he plays some excellent basketball here. Does he want to throw that away very quickly? That remains to be seen. We could keep going. The last player that is considered a free agent for the Chicago Bulls is Talen Horton-Tucker. Now, this one to me is pretty straightforward. Talen Horton-Tucker did not get many chances with the Chicago Bulls, and at the end of the day, when he did play, he had some glimpses of really good potential, really good scoring, was able to change a game when he stepped foot on the court, and then, for whatever reason, whether it's his fault or not, he doesn't play for the next 4 or 5 games. Maybe even longer. And then when he does come back, he doesn't contribute the way that we wanted him to. So, inconsistent minutes, inconsistent opportunities, inconsistent style of play, all of that might lead to my decision here. I don't think we're going to be keeping Talen Horton-Tucker around for much longer. He's had different teams. He played for the Lakers. He did well for the Lakers. He played for the Jazz, had some okay games there. He's played for the Bulls, and he's had some okay games here. He seems to me like a player that on his day can make a big impact to a team, and you might need some of those players around that can have a good game every now and then. But for the most part, a lot of teams have probably felt a little bit disappointed at what he could bring to the table. Now, he's still really young. And that's obviously going to be a benefit to any team that goes near him at this point in time. And it still makes me believe he will find a team in the NBA, because everybody will take a chance on a 24-year-old that on any given night can give you 20 points. And do it with ease sometimes as well. Sometimes it feels easy when he comes in and drops those type of points. But at the end of the day, the inconsistency in his game time to me matters. And it shows that, yeah, we might want him to play more, but clearly the Bulls coaching staff and organization don't trust him enough to play him consistently each and every single game. Maybe there's not enough minutes in that rotation, and therefore, if he does stay, it might be for that vet minimum, maybe a little bit above that, but if he does stay, it's going to be like a question mark type of move. And that's why I do see him leaving the Chicago Bulls. We'll wait and see. Ultimately, if he stays, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And if he goes, I mean, he's from Chicago, so I do wish him nothing but the best. But I won't lose sleep over it either. I just hope he does well wherever else he decides to go. Wherever, I guess, the next job comes for him. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Those are the free agents for the Chicago Bulls. We should probably talk and make videos about Kobe White and even Ayo Dosunmu and their extensions, because I think that's a pretty big deal for us as well, just as much as it is Josh Giddey. But I know a lot of the attention is on Josh Giddey right now because that's the key decision we must make. Kobe White, you could delay a little bit. Ayo, you could delay a little bit. Josh Giddey's the main focus. So I understand that. But regardless, do you agree with my decisions? I don't know if the article said that. I just looked at the names and said, you know what? Good video. I didn't read what they said, so maybe I copied them word for word. I have no idea. But I'll thank you for watching regardless, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.